Isn't it interesting how easily the mind shifts when you realise that what you once believed was true was just a story that someone else gave you, a story you repeated so many times it became familiar. And yet right now, as you hear these words, something's already changing, isn't it? Because as you take a deep breath, as you feel yourself here, now you can already begin to notice how those old patterns, those old beliefs, they're never really yours, were they? Who told you that you had to be tough all the time? Who told you that showing emotion was weakness? And isn't it funny how you just accepted it without questioning it? But now you're questioning it. And the moment you question a belief, the structure of it begins to collapse. You can almost hear it cracking, breaking apart like an old shell that no longer fits, because it never did. And what happens when you let go of a belief that was never yours to begin with? Freedom, expansion, power. Because right now, in this moment, you can already begin to realise, what if strength was never about suppression, but about expression? What if control was never about shutting down, but about opening up? What if the most powerful thing you could do was to stop trying to prove yourself at all? Because when you stop proving, you start being. And something about that feels right, doesn't it? It feels real. Because you already know, deep down, that the version of you who was always trying to prove something was never the real you. It was just a mask, a survival mechanism. And you don't need that anymore. Because now you remember, the more you let go, the further you can go. The more you slow down, the faster you move. The more you embrace the quiet, the louder your truth becomes. The more you settle into this truth, the more everything starts to flow. The easier it becomes to connect, to express, to just be. Because now, you're no longer trapped in the loop of overthinking, overanalyzing, overcompensating. And if someone were to ask you, what if you could just be exactly who you are, right now, without needing to prove anything at all? How would that feel? Because maybe, just maybe, you're already there. And the more you allow that thought to settle in, the more you realise, you don't need to fight for control. You don't need to fight for power. You don't need to fight at all. Because the moment you stop fighting, the moment you let go, you realise you already have everything you need. And doesn't that feel freeing? Because it's fascinating, isn't it? How the moment you let go, everything just starts falling into place. Because for so long you held on to proving, held on to control, held on to beliefs that were never really yours. And now as you hear these words, something inside you shifts, doesn't it? Because the truth is, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You never did. And what if you could just drop that weight? Imagine it now. Feel it. The sensation of letting go. Of realising that the opinions of others, they have zero weight in your life, unless you allow them to. And why would you? Because you see, the moment you stop giving energy to proving, you start living. What happens when you stop seeking validation and start trusting yourself? What happens when you stop chasing and start allowing? What happens when you let go of what doesn't serve you and step into who you're always meant to be? Because isn't it funny how the mind can trap itself in a cycle, believing it must fight, must struggle, must hold on. And yet, the moment you stop fighting, stop struggling, stop holding, everything just starts to flow. And maybe, just maybe, you've already begun to notice it's happening. Because the past is nothing more than a memory. A memory that you have the power to reframe, reshape and release. And as you do, something shifts deep inside. You start to remember what it feels like to be light, to be free, to be completely unapologetically you. And isn't that the most powerful thing at all? Because you spent so much time in your mind, overthinking, overanalyzing, running loops. What if thinking less meant understanding more? What if slowing down made you move faster? What if letting go made you rise higher? Because as you breathe in this realization, as you feel it settling deep inside. You can already sense you don't need revenge. You don't need approval. You don't need control. You need only be. And the more you allow that truth to sink in, the more effortless it all becomes. And isn't it incredible how easy life gets when you stop making it so hard?